Hi, welcome to part two of this mini series of Fog of War with RTS Engine. And so obviously we're using RTS Engine 2023.0.2 and the Fog of War module, the same version number. So if you followed the first one, something I actually forgot to mention, and hopefully you actually clicked on and opened the PDF that comes with Fog of War. And added in the shaders into your project settings. And to do that, I completely forgot about that. Sorry. Oh, not build settings. You go and edit your project settings, and in here you need to include the shaders. Now they pretty much do load by default, but you might find they won't. So in which case you'll need to make sure you add the Fog of War Legacy and the Fog of War Blur shader. Now by default this would be set at number 6, so it would be like that. So to make this bigger you'd have to manually increase the size, so let's say 7. And what I typically do is click on there. I'll go and find the shader that I want. In this case it'd be the Fog of War Legacy, and I'll do that. And then what I'll do is I'll include the blur one as well, so I'll turn that to now to 8. So when I click on that, I don't have so far to scroll on to find it, so it depends which way around you want to play with that. And if you want the hardware shader on as well, I'm not going into details about the hardware shader and stuff. I think it might not work on certain GPUs and things like that, so I'm sort of using it with script at the moment. I suppose that's down to device testing and stuff, and you can spend years testing on every single device and setup out there, but we're not getting into that. Okay, so post-processing stack. So when you install RTS Engine by default, there are a couple of things you need to install. The polygonal particles pack, which you should have installed, and it's all in the documentation about that. And most times this will be missing, this script, and that is because you need to install the post-processing stack from the Unity registry. You could scroll down, look for it, or you can just type in the search box post, and then you install the post-processing stack, which is version 2. And once you've done that, obviously this script will work. Now this is the standard demo that comes with Fog of War module. So it's all set up for legacy. As you can see down there, it's got the legacy scripts, and it does work even if you've got the post-processing stack installed for to work. So the legacy scripts do work. However, I mean, obviously this is all blocky. I haven't changed any of the settings in this. This is straight default. And if you watch me changing the settings on the other one, I suppose we could do that really quick. Oh, sorry, wrong one. There we go. So as you can see, that's 128. Let's make that 1, make that 2, and let's turn that to 5, and hit play. And we've just smoothed up the whole fog situation, as you can see. So that looks a little bit better and less blocky. Okay, that's cool. Right, so post-processing, how do we add it? Can we add it straight onto this demo, or can we not? So I'm just going to save that at the moment because we've done a couple of changes. So let's, first off, what we'll do is we'll go through the install of the Fog of War asset, which you've probably done with the legacy to start with. So when we go package manager, let's go my assets. Oop. Oh god, it's going to take an age. Or not. Yeah, load all. Right. So when we go to import that, as you can see, this is still using version 1.24 that is available through the asset store for the Fog of War asset. You don't want HDRP installed, and you don't want URP. Now, and you don't want this. Actually, I do have some of the samples. Now, I've actually used some of this from the latest package update, which is why this script wants to be redone, and so does this one. It does work, but what you need to do is you need to, and I've mentioned this in the previous video, is to go onto the asset store and email Brendan, and the link is down there. Click on that, email him, send him your invoice number, and say, is it possible you can get the updated package that's been mentioned in the forums? Let's go to number 9, because at a few points he's actually said, there you go, can you send me an email, find the asset store page, user guidance, and I'll send you the package with the fix. So he's done a lot of fixes actually. So yeah, there's a few things, and including some issues with URP, which I'll talk about on the URP one. You could go through and do all these code changes yourself, but at the end of the day, it's just quicker just to email him and get that. So that's, you get the updated package, which is at 1.25. Now, right, so once you've got the updated package, and you need to install the post-processing, so it's that script that's changed. The shader hasn't, and the FOW or team script's changed. You don't need to install all the assets. You will get errors if you do install certain things, but what I did basically on this particular version, I installed the PostProcessingv2 stack, the legacy stack, so that the demo would still work in this. You don't need HDRP or URP, and in the assets folder itself, I basically didn't do the test2D install. Obviously, it depends on what you're doing. So once you've got that done, you'll have a directory structure looking like this. So you'll have your core with your editor and legacy and your PostProcessingv2, and you'll have your samples with your legacy and PostProcessingv2. Now the reason why I did the samples on that is because it includes the FOW volume as well, and I was for testing and playing around. So can we just edit the existing demo map with the FOW module for this? And yes, jump out the scenes. So demo scenes. So you want to go RTS Engine modules, FOW demo scenes, and that's one. So yes, you can edit that from by default. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that scene, and we're on that scene now. So what you can do is you can literally, so before you start that, what you need to do is go back into your project settings, and you need to now load the shader for post-processing, and that's that one there. Okay, and once we've done that, that's great. Now if we went actually, and if we now actually just play this, now remember our cameras still have our legacy scripts on there, okay? Right, so they've still got the legacy scripts. So the only thing we've actually done so far to the module demo is to change our shader. So let's go and play that, and I'll show you what doesn't work. And it does work. Crazy, eh? But we're not actually including that, but we are using that shader. Now, if I went while this is running, I think it changes actually. I think it loads it by default. See, it's loaded the legacy script in there because we're using the legacy stuff. So it's loaded the legacy shader, not the post-processing. So we're going to close that and unplay that. So that's what we've done there. Now, on the Discord channel for RTS Engine under community resources, I will have shared a couple of scripts. So I would have shared this script here, post-FOW RTS Manager PostProcessingv2 script. While I'm chatting, I'm going to click that and open up Visual Studio, Basically what I did is I cloned that script and then I changed a few things in there to work with post-processing. I will show you briefly what I've done, but I'm not going to go into detail. So you're not going to be doing script changes because I'm going to provide those scripts for you. What you will need to do is you need to start changing things in the demo map. Okay. So this is the fog of war. So basically what all I've done is I've included the post-processing up there. I've changed the class name. Nothing else has changed with the exception of got rid of the looking for the fog of war legacy script in the cameras. We're now looking for post-processing volumes, which we'll show in a minute. And I've made sure that it won't work unless you actually have post-processing volumes. And originally that was what we did for the cameras, but now for each post-processing volume, we're going through and we're setting the right team for the right fog of war, so your team. So what we need to do is we need to go to the cameras and we need to remove the legacy scripts. That's number one. Okay. Then we go to the module, fog of war module, and we need to now remove the RTS, fog of war RTS manager. Remove that. And then we need to add in the fog of war RTS manager, and it's because it's capital letters, so it splits it. So you want that script. You can move that up or down, and then you want to add the volume to it. Now we already have a post-processing volume there, the post.fx. So we can now just click on that. Let's move that over there so you can see it, and as you can see, that's loaded that. Now I'm just going to move this up to the top, just so you can see it's up there. Now then, in there, that's got that. So we've got our fog of war, and let's go back and just check our shaders. I hate when it does that. And so we're loading our post-processing shader and our blur shader. And we'll hit play and we'll see what happens. And we get errors. Okay. And the error is because we haven't actually added or set our shader up, post-processing volume properly. We need to go here and you need to add an effect to that one, and it's the fog of war. Okay, so you need to make sure that is on. You need to tick team, make sure it's at 0, and tick your fog color. And that is basically the same as the legacy setup for the cameras. Now if we hit play now, oh, it doesn't work on the mini map. But does it work? It does work. Okay, so how do we get the mini map to display that? Did he just attack him then? Oh. All right. I thought he attacked him. So we can see that's working, but obviously it's not covering the mini map. Okay, so let's look at the mini map then, and then we'll look at that. So what I'm going to do at the moment, I'm just going to hit save on that. And so on the mini map, there is nothing there to do with post-processing stack. Our main camera, as you can see, has a post-processing layer. So we need to make sure we've got a post-processing layer on the mini map. So I'm going to copy that component. So one might think you would add that to there and click this so it actually is the minimap cam, and let's run that. This might not work, and it didn't work. Okay, so I'm going to untick that. I'm going to remove that. Okay, and let's go to the minimap cam UI, paste as new, click this, and play that. And it does work, but it's a bit weird. Now, I actually like this because you can see the terrain, you can see it's, and unlike before where everything was blacked out, you can actually see the whole terrain. So you could see where, you know, maybe there might be a bridge over some rivers. And as you can see, it is actually clearing the fog. Okay, but everything's quite masked out. So you might think that's not great, it's not working properly. The fix for that is click keep alpha. Okay. And then you get the whole blackness. So this is a weird one that, yes, that works quite well. The only thing is, like, let's say you've got him and you click go to that point there. He's not going to move. I'm actually right clicking now. I don't know if the pings are showing up on the video. He's not going to move because you can't see the outline of the map. But I know it's sort of update live, yeah. But now, because I was clicking there, he's not going to move. But now you can see where the map is. So let's just not send him all the way over there for the moment, but let's send him to there. Oh, sorry, it's because I ticked on there. Right, so let's send him over to there. So I actually like this. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't actually show that it's cleared properly because of the fog regrow is pretty much the same. But I mean, that's depending on how you want to do things, but that way does work. So, and that's how you can set this up for post-processing v2. Really simple, really easy. Before we go ahead and do something else, well, that's pretty much it, really. The same settings apply to fog regrow and your qualities and stuff like that. None of that's changed. So anything you was playing around with the built-in renderer, and then you wanted to try the post-processing, that is the way to do that. Okay, so I did some more weirdness. So I've actually done another demo map. So I cloned the demo map from start. And I went a little bit OTT. So post-processing volume, because we've just edited that one there, and we added that in there. If you went back to the demo map, you can see we've added that to that one. And that's because this is the global post-processing profile that comes with the demo. So what I did is I duplicated that, and then I removed, or you don't have to duplicate it. What you can do is you could create a post-processing, I can't remember where that is. It's probably under rendering. Easiest way I did it was to duplicate the post-processing volume. So duplicate that one. As you can see, we got that, and then I went through, removed these all the way through. That way that any of these settings can still be applied without being affected with the fog of war. So basically I did that. I'm just going to delete that profile at the moment. Yeah, delete it. Ignore. So I duplicated it. So I had a fog of war and a fog of war minimap. And why did I do that? Well, it's quite simple, really. Is I wanted two colors. You really wouldn't want fog of war in this color, but I did this for the videos. And I have a different color for the minimap. So you can create a couple of different profiles, and that's all you need for those. So on the demo map, let's remove that now, because the minute you edit this one, it does it to the global version, which is that one down there. Now, as I've just removed that, it's gone. So you could actually just go there and clone or create a new one from that. So I did that there. So let's go back to the long scenes. Right. Sorry, that one. Right. So our demo map doesn't have the fog of war, it's just the same as that is, that's the legacy one. Okay, our map one that we duplicated 10 minutes ago, where we edited that's now gone, because, well, I want this affecting the main camera of when you're running around the scene, right? So let's add a couple of other post-process volumes. So basically you just add an empty game object, and then you add component, and if you go volume, and you can add your post-processing volume like that. You need to make sure that is global is ticked, and then you select the volume that you want to include, so in other words like that, and then you have that and you can access your colors. Okay, so I'm going to delete that one because we've already got those two set up. We've got the post-FX underscore fog of war, which is that lovely green, and we have a mini map version, which is that lovely red. Okay, so on our camera, on our cameras, on our main camera, we have our main post-processing layer. Okay, and on our, we have nothing on the cam UI. On our mini map cam, we have nothing, and on our UI, we have our post-process mini map layer. So let me just go back into that for a second. And the minimap cam UI is, that's obviously that ticks this. So post-FX is set to post-processing. The fog of war is set to post-processing. So we have our nice green, and that's fine. And then our mini map, we have it on a layer that I created. I just added a new layer in down the bottom, and I called it post-processing minimap. So we could assign a different post-processing volume to just the minimap. So because you might want to say, let's say, have it not as dark, you might want the minimap sort of semi-clear, sort of drop the alpha down a little bit without affecting the main fog over the map itself. So that's fine. So we've got that as that. So that's great. And then that one's obviously going to be our main camera and what we can view if you want field of depth and that sort of stuff. Okay, so we've set that for that layer only. We're keeping the alpha, as I just showed you a few minutes ago, and we're not worried about keeping that one on there, and deferred fog is enabled. So in our module itself for fog of war settings, I've now added another volume in, and as you can see, I have post-FX fog of war and post-FX fog of war minimap. Okay, and that's basically so that the team or local faction ID, whether you're playing 3 or 4 players or NPCs, they all get their own faction slot ID, and that's what becomes the team ID. So now you've seen that disgusting fog color. Should we have a play and have a little look? Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? So let's have a look. So off he goes. He clears that lovely green, as we can see, and it's absolutely awful, I know, but it's a really good way of showing you it clearing out, and especially how you could use 2 different volumes. So let's unplay that for a second. Let's go to our minimap one, and so we could, let's say, maybe drop the alpha down on that one. But if we do that, you can see now, you can see the borders, and you can only see what's been visible and what isn't visible, depending on the settings you've got for those prefabs and units. So you probably wouldn't want to do that there. Let's just move that. So I'll put that back to 255. Let's say we wanted that a different color. Let's go for, a lovely purple for that. Jesus. I love messing about with things like this. It's quite fun, actually. I haven't got that long left. I've got about 6 minutes before I have to sort of stop this video. So if you did actually want to change the way that looked, if we go back to say that alpha, oh, sorry, wrong one. That's not, oh, where did I do that earlier? Right. This, was it this one? Overrides. Oh, what am I playing at? Where did I do that before? Oh, sorry, it's the alpha channel on the minimap camera, isn't it? This one. So we'll turn that one off. So we just change that colour to that lovely, lovely, lovely purpley, pinky colour thing. So it's quite different, isn't it? But if you notice now, the whole of the map is done, but you can still see the terrain. So let's just whack him over there, and I'll bring that up there, and you can see that's clearing quite nicely. So you can get some really different effects having two volumes on there. And like I say, that script that I'm going to share, you do not need to drop that script into the FOW module script. In fact, I recommend you don't do that. Just put that into your own directory somewhere with your own project stuff. The reason being is any updates for the FOW module would probably override that and remove that, so that would mess things up on that. Now, one other little thing about this, I'm pretty sure this might be a bug, but it might not be. And as we've got that open at the moment, the FOW building placer script, no, that's fine. So NPCs will actually build properly in this. With URP, we have to do some script changes for the FOW building placer. So basically, I'm just going to run that up for a couple of seconds. I'm going to grab him. Actually, what we're going to do, I'm going to move him over a bit closer, but I'm not going to get him too close. If I stick the gizmos on, we should be able to see all the audio emitters, and you see that spinning around there. That is the NPC building placement manager searching around for a place to put a building. And yeah, that's right, this one actually won't work. So there is another script change to do. It's very simple. That won't actually place that down because it's an NPC, and because it's the fog color, it's sort of, I don't know why, but it just ignores it. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up, and all you need to do in this one is go if this dot entity, oh no, that's me not looking when I'm touching stuff, entity, this dot entity dot is NPC faction, return error message dot none. Basically, it's just returning the fact that it's an NPC. No, we're not in the fog. Oh, and I missed the two brackets. There we go. So save that. That'll run quickly. I completely forgot about that actually. So this is only for post-processing and URP. That's the only script change you need to do to that. And now if we run that up really quickly, go over to there. Gizmos are still on from earlier, and that's the building placement. It will stop in a second like it just did there, and now the NPCs are running around and building that building, and it's now placing another building, as you can see, and it's done one there, and then NPCs there. And just to prove that, I'm going to turn the gizmos off. I'm going to go back, select our little soldier, let's turn that back down to 1. And you can see the buildings and the barracks have all been placed. That might be a bug, I don't know, but it's the only way it seems to work on with NPCs. Okay, hopefully you find that helpful, and I need to end this now. So the next, or part 3, will be dealing with URP, which is almost the same setup. I hope you find that helpful. Thanks, bye.